Alright, hello everyone. It's time for another video with me. I am exhausted today, so excuse my less than excitable demeanor, but it's been a long month, November, and now we're getting into December, and Umbra is wiped out in terms of resources, in terms of effort. I put a lot of stuff into FF9, and I'm going to be cruising through the month of December, not caring too terribly much about all the shit that it will be coming out. But that doesn't mean we won't be giving you the information. So let's talk about it. First off, the brand new character that will come into Wotv as of December 1st on JP and probably later into the month of December for global side, if I remember the global roadmap correctly, is the new version of Olde. This is the younger version of him. He is the second character from the anniversary event that is going on, so he is in the same vein as essentially Helena, and you can probably expect this character to be pretty good. This is one of the characters that I think people who invested in Gernsback and who have been interested in spears for a while are probably going to be paid off pretty hard. It's been proven already on JP that spears are in a decent position to take over a little bit of the meta, and as such, I expect this to be quite good with water, no less. It'll be interesting to see how it all balances out here on JP, but new main job, Paladin as the secondary and Trick Lancer as the third. I think this is perfectly good. Paladin will give a little bit of survivability to him. Trick Lancer will give some range and some extra spear abilities, which is essentially what he wants. Taking a look at the main job, we have a little bit of details. He is just another annoying kind of ball of text, and I say that with deep love in my heart as a content creator, where when we have to talk about this kind of stuff, we have to look at the character just being like, well, a lot of stuff to read. But things that are notable here, his limit burst is a two-parter. First one, essentially dealing damage, and not only dealing damage, but decreasing spear or resistances on attacks, which is pretty good. The limit burst range is pretty short, so I'm assuming that this character will be able to get in quite close to enemies. If he can't, his limit burst is almost kind of null. He's going to also need probably a good source of AP to use this, because otherwise he's just not going to get it. The payoff is pretty damn high, though, where you're getting like CT boosts for your characters off of the second ability, and also that like a 3-turn like increase of your own defensive and offensive capabilities, which is probably just good enough. But yeah, this is one where I feel like this will be quite a strong limit burst if it ever does happen, because it's definitely doing a bunch of things, and doing a bunch of things for one ability is always better than doing just one specific thing for a lot less. Taking a look at his other abilities, he does essentially have, like, his secondary ability. The key things that I note here are like re-raise and bonuses for re-raise also being on this character. Interestingly, it looks like this is another character with an aura style effect, where from essentially a certain range around him, he's going to be getting extra protection against attacks, which is pretty interesting. And I'm just kind of curious whether it'll work, a little bit better this time, and how this compounding effect might work with water, where we're seeing like multiple defensive auras now. It'd be interesting. But to top that all off, he's also getting AP per turn regeneration of bells, so this might be thing that really allows his limit burst to essentially function and be quite reliably used. So yeah, that in combination with the final ability here is Like, just, it's an offensive ability. It gets rid of barriers off of opponents, which is essentially nice. It also looks to have upwards of higher accuracy. And yeah, it's an AoE ability. We're getting, I think, even like a couple of hits off of this. So there's a lot of prospect here on this character if you just take a look. I mean, like, I think that Tricklancer is still quite good. This main job is looking quite good because it's essentially like Helena kind of looking kit, but for spears instead of magic. And that's seriously like water and spear. Water has some good offensive cards. It also has now a little bit of Esper support for this kind of attack. And characters such as Ferris and Summer Glassy, I think, fit pretty well into this, just even on a defensive or like longer longevity. That's the word I'm looking. Master ability is also single target resistance and reaction rate prevention. But of course, the final details of whether this character is any good will really come down to essentially the rest of his main kit. I think that so long as there's even just an ounce more of survivability in this character, I think, like, you know, we get piercing damage and everything like that, this character will probably be very strong. However, he is a permanent addition to the pool, so not like you have to run out and get him right away. As for other things to do on JP side, well, guild map will focus around water and spears, which is also kind of good for wind for the next little bit, so that's kind of nice. Maybe we'll see some more of that. There will be a new spear for our new spear character, and that is usually pretty encouraging, just because new equipment tailored around new characters is generally pretty good. And I'm hoping that the spear will not just be good for him, but maybe some other characters too. Guess we'll have to wait and see. December logins. Cursory look right now doesn't look anything too different or too special. There will be, of course, some training missions to help people who do decide to go for Olde. And next up, a new Final Fantasy IX event, the Festival of the Hunt, which, of course, is a major event that takes place in Final Fantasy IX, and it will be an event starting December 1st here on JP. Where essentially, you have to fight waves of battles. It's essentially like kind of like that wave battle where you have the magic pot sitting in the back corner counting down turns, and you have to kill as many enemies as possible. I mean, it's listed essentially the enemy types here with their element and like effective damage types. Behemoth is at the top, and I don't know, I'm just kind of nice just to see anything else for these kind of events, because normally you just get the Trial of Reckoning, farming, and that's it. So I'll take it. Last but not least, JP looks to be getting a little bit of maintenance to try and patch up the game. Not too terribly much interesting there, I think, because essentially, I don't know, just improve the game, I guess, is the bottom line. Yeah, so taking a look at this, of course, I'm expecting like a VC that will probably be spear related, because water already has a lot of good stuff. So if that's the case, I mean, Gernsback was kind of really good recently, and that was before he potentially got essentially like support here. And I don't know, people with Summer Glassy, people with Ferris, would be pretty happy with the combination. So anyway, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Of course, there will be some banner stuff, and we will have full previews once this character is out. Because, you know, a young, super old, here's an interesting phrase, is that something that I think some people out there have been waiting for. And hey, maybe this is just the absolute soul is now garbage like answer. Anyway, see ya.